What I'm going to talk about is how travel is a very useful tool and how travel has transformed me into who I am today, and how I would encourage all of you to travel to change yourself and travel how you can change the world. To begin with, we're all from Hyderabad, and I think the norm is you first become an engineer, then you go to the US to do your masters. If you're a woman, then that's followed by getting married, and then you figure out what you want to do. I'm none of the above. And I guess that's where a lot of probably people think, forget broken, she probably doesn't even have a compass. We don't know what this girl's up to. Trust me, my grandparents keep telling me, what's the deal with you? You run off to Bhutan one day, you run off to Ladakh one day, you roam around the jungles of Nagaland. Why don't you settle down? That's the term which women in their 30s, unmarried women in their 30s are very used to listening to. I was very fortunate to grow up in a family from the defense. I'm a very, very proud daughter and granddaughter of two decorated starred army generals. And I owe a lot to who I am today to my military upbringing. Uncommon to conventional thinking, where you feel that you'd have a strict father with a big mustache, smoking a cigar and having a gun. My dad was none of that. My dad really encouraged travel, outdoors, adventures, sport, and it's amazing. I changed about 10 schools during the course of my schooling, where we moved from place to place every 2 years. And the best memories I have are of tiny little places. I did 1 year of schooling in this quaint little hill station called as Wellington in the Nilgiris. Studied in Srinagar in Jammu Kashmir during the peak of militancy. It was just before the Kargil war happened. Or did 3 years of schooling in a quaint little town called as Mao in central India. What struck me about all these experiences in my life is how beautiful and how lucky we are to live in this diverse country that is India. Every little place has something unique, and what makes it unique, other than the climate, the landscape, are the people. Beautiful people with great culture, cuisine, art, handicraft, and this is what comes together and makes a place unique and leaves an impact on you, and helps you kind of transform and grow as an individual through life. What I am going to do today with you is talk about a few experiences during the course of my travels and stress on 3 important lessons which I feel would be very important for all of you as you all step out tomorrow to be leaders and people who are going to make an impact in this world in the future. So let's start with story 1. My first story is going to take you to this tranquil, beautiful island called as Langkawi. Langkawi is this tropical paradise in Malaysia, your typical picture postcard of white sands, blue waters, delicious Malaysian food. This was October 2015. I decided to go on a solo trip where I was spending 3 days in Malaysia. Thereafter, I had to fly down to Singapore for a work conference. And after gorging on delicious food and soaking in the sand and sun for 3 days, I went to the airport, checked in to board my uneventful 1-hour flight to Singapore, wherein I was to reach a day prior for a conference. Little did I know that that uneventful 1-hour flight had a lot in store for me. There's something which happens in October in Indonesia where the farmers burn their fields, and there is a notorious smog that sets out across all of Southeast Asia. As my luck would have it that day, the fog was so bad that visibility was reduced to less than 100 meters, and all flights in and out of the island were cancelled for that day. So I was literally marooned on the island, and after 6 hours of constantly fighting with AirAsia, they told me that, all flights in and out of the island are cancelled, and we really don't know how you're going to get out. We don't know when the next flight's going to be. Your only next option is to take the last ferry out of the island, and you're going to try your luck on that. I had 2 options in front of me at this point of time. Option 1 was to call in work and tell them that, hey, this is what's happened. I'm marooned, I'm stuck at this island, and I cannot make it to the conference. Option 2 looked a lot more exciting at that point of time. Option 2 was, you can't just sit back and because of one cancelled flight, say that I can't make it to Singapore, let's figure a way out. I rushed to the other end of the island, got the last ferry out to mainland Malaysia, took an 8.5-hour late night bus to Kuala Lumpur, which got me to Kuala Lumpur about 3:30 a.m. Took a 1-hour cab ride to KL airport and finally flew into Singapore, reaching the resort half an hour before the conference. Trust me, in 24 hours, I took every conceivable mode of transport which was there in Malaysia. I took a scooter, I took a bus, I took a ferry, I took a plane, you name it. Another story which happened a year down the line was I was traveling to Sikkim. I was solo again. And I was going to travel to a point in North Sikkim. Now, North Sikkim is this untouched area bordering Tibet, high altitude. Roads are practically non-existent in the region, and this region is very unstable in terms of landslides and a lot of tectonic activity. Now, as my luck would have it, there was a landslide and I was stuck. Now, after waiting for a bit, I figured that let me cross this landslide on foot, and my taxi driver assured me that he'd follow me and meet me across the landslide once the road's clear. So, put my boots on, took my backpack, rest of my stuff was in the cab, and with the help of a local, I crossed. I still remember this was mid-October, it was a cold night, temperatures were plummeting to somewhere around freezing, and it had snowed in the mountains. I received a call from my cab driver saying, "Mem saab, hum to Gangtok pahunch gaya hai, aap khud se aa jana." Now here I am, stranded in the middle of nowhere in North Sikkim, limited cell phone connectivity, and my driver telling me that, you know what, fend for yourself. Finally, the Indian Army came to the rescue. I made some friends, and 2 days later, I hitched a ride in an army truck back to Gangtok. Now the lesson what I want to bring out to you here is many times life does not go on as we expected it to be. We envision life to happen in a certain way, certain things, certain pictures, and the moment life throws a bouncer at you, you're like, oh my God, you want to step back saying this is not for me, this is not meant for me. Little do you realize that the joy is in the journey. The bouncer comes for you, smack it out of the boundary, hit it for a 6. That is the beauty of life. The unexpectedness, the journey, that is where the true essence of life is. Had I chosen the first option in both these cases, where I sat back and said, let me go back to Gangtok, or let me cancel my conference at Singapore, I would not have had 2 stories to tell you guys 3 years down the line. So lesson number 1, it's cliche, but when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. The second lesson I want to bring out to you is about stereotypes. There's something which the previous speaker also stressed upon, and I'd like to talk about is, unfortunately in Indian culture, stereotypes are very ingrained. If I meet someone, say I'm a South Indian, I straight away say, oh, you're Madrasi, that's what I heard. My staple would be idli and dosa. More so if you're from the Northeast, your label is chinky, and you're supposed to be eating only noodles, and you're supposed to be someone who's very tribal, and God knows. This, more often than not, is a very, very inaccurate stereotype to what the true picture is. What we don't realize as people, and what I would urge you all to stress on, is tomorrow, when you step out into the world, and the world is shrinking at a pace much faster than what we can imagine. You are going to be exposed to cultures and people which are very different from you, very different from your comfort zone. Do not stereotype. This story about stereotypes is going to take you to the beautiful state of Nagaland, which is also called as the wild east of India. This was me in Nagaland in 2016 during the Hornbill Festival. I took a group of about 6 people from mainland India, and I'm stressing on the word mainland India because we think people from the Northeast are foreign. Because I hear people saying, oh, up India, I go. So mainland India for that. There's set notions which a lot of people whom I took had, saying that, oh, we don't know what they're going to eat, they're probably very tribal in their culture, they're not sophisticated. Nagaland, to give you a little background, is a state which is an amalgamation of a lot of warrior tribes. We were fortunate enough to stay at a homestay of one of the warrior tribes called as the Angamis. Now, Angamis are a dominant warrior class in Nagaland. You know, concepts which we are aiming to achieve in India, things like equality for women, marrying for love and not for dowry. In your traffic, how often does the honking on the roads piss you off? How often do you shout at a guy who cuts you off who does not understand the concept of lane discipline? Concepts which we are striving and aiming to achieve in our so-called developed cities are a reality in this part of the country. Women enjoy freedom to wear what they want, go out with whom they want to, mix, talk. No one's going to cast an eye, no one's going to say anything. I think all of us came back from that trip learning so much and opening our eyes to understand that, you know, people who are not like you need not be shunned. There's probably a lot you can learn from them. So lesson number 2. Labels are for clothes, not people. Don't stereotype. My last story, and bringing me to my last lesson, takes you to my favorite place on this earth, Ladakh. Ladakh is the land of the high passes. There's a famous saying in Ladakh which goes that the land is so harsh and the climate is so extreme that only the worst of enemies or the best of friends come and visit you. Ladakh has surely left a place in my heart, and there's something in me which wants to keep going back there every year. 2017 July had me with a group of 14 volunteers from California go and spend a week at a remote Ladakhi village. This picture is from the village where we were given a traditional Ladakhi welcome by the locals. You can see women dressed in their traditional costume called as the perak, all huddled and assembled out there to welcome all of us. Our aim to spend a week there was to understand what their life was. We stayed with local villagers at their homes, understanding their life, their agriculture, their food, for a lot of us their language also. Our contribution to them was to give them the gift of light. This is the village where we stay. This is an aerial view. You can see the villages on the banks of the Indus. There are a lot of remote homes of the village and across Ladakh that are still not electrified. Our mission over those 5 days was we trekked into the mountains to about 14,000 feet and solar electrified 10 homes that were completely off the grid. So the mission was to give the beauty of light from us to you. This was the group.
What do you think? You like?
This house had never seen electricity until 2017 July. That joy and happiness which came on his face is something which I cannot put words into. You know, they probably received the gift of light, but what we received from them was something which was intangible. The beauty of love and compassion. We did not speak the same language. People from California, I could at least communicate in Hindi, but the people from California only knew English, but there was no problem in communicating. We all spoke the same language. What I want to bring out here is the concept and the message of love and compassion. I think this visual would be very apt in expressing that. Would you play this for me?
आपके घर में जो रोशनी आएगी उससे आपकी जिंदगी में क्या परिवर्तन आएगा?
इसमें हम तो ऐसे महसूस करते हैं कि हम एक अंधा आदमी को आंख मिल गया, उसी के बराबर हमें महसूस फील कर रहा है, क्योंकि हम जो नंगा बत्ती जो तेल वाले केरोसिन वाले बत्ती से हम गुजरा करते थे, इसलिए सबसे बढ़िया हमें खुशी है अब उनकी जो वॉलंटियर टीम से अब उनका बहुत बहुत शुक्रगुजार है। हमें बिल्कुल अब उनकी जो हेल्प की हमें कई जिंदगी में जब तक डेथ नहीं होगा तब तक हम बिल्कुल याद करेंगे।
हम भी आपके शुक्रगुजार हैं, हमें मौका मिला कि हम भी आपको दे सकते। So he says getting light is like giving an eye to a blind person. He will never forget what you guys did for me, and he will be forever grateful for his life. Thank you.
I think that visual says it all, and I don't need. So what I bring out here is lesson number 3, my last lesson. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. And we all speak the same language, the language of love and compassion. Tomorrow, when you go out there to become a leader, a partner, a team player, if you want your team to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. And that is what brings me to the end of my talk, where I urge each one of you to travel. Get out of your comfort zone, because I know that these lessons that I've learned to make me who I am today is because of my travels. Tomorrow, when you go out and get out of your comfort zone, you will realize that there are so many problems in this world, and how you are at this place of privilege where you can solve for this. There are so many problems in this world that you as an individual who is more compassionate, who is more eager to learn, who is willing to step out of his or her comfort zone can solve for. And that is what the new world requires. That is what we require from all of you. So on a closing note, I'm going to say once again, travel this beautiful country of ours, this vast, diverse country. Travel to change yourself, and travel to change this world. Thank you.